Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are on our final descent into Salt Lake City. We do need all of your seatbacks and tray tables in their upright and locked position as well.
Creativity is, wow, what is creativity?
Oof. Oh, God.
What is creativity? God, what a question.
Like the metaphor I actually use for it is that like if you heard like a tone in the sky, like a kind of, God damn it. I think about hearing this thing in the sky, like this tone, this like perfect, beautiful tone. It's beautiful. And I need to communicate that to people.
Do I remember the first creative act I fell in love with?
The beginning, for me,
I guess it would be the kiss.
was a release from restlessness.
I have a history of drawing since I was a very young child.
Always
Restless, pacing
Something that just came very
child.
naturally
Playing
to me.
a character in Dungeons & Dragons when I was 5 years old. I was playing a thief.
I was in love with like lined paper.
And I realized that I was going to get caught unless I was really smart.
And drawing and then coloring in the drawings and
I was
learning about
a kid,
punctuation.
and my mother took me to see a puppet
I think
show.
of the first song I
and
ever
I
wrote when I was
just
about 8
felt like
years
I'm
old.
going to explode. This is the most magical thing I've ever seen.
And that was a thrilling thing.
Just escape my environment all the time. Just draw something. So I would just draw.
First time I ever saw Mark Rothko paintings in person. It gave me this chemical reaction or something. It gave me the same kind of feeling of when I first fell in love.
Mythical Creatures is a son's journey to uncover the deepest and darkest secrets of his parents' Holocaust experience.
There was a greatness about my father's story that I needed to tell the world. How from something that could be the most horrific event, the human time, the flowers that can grow from that. With this lab, the goal was to really discover the kind of beating heart of what the film is. I have such a hunger to create something that's new, something that gives some kind of value to this earth.
The Memory Mosaic is a web-based story sharing project born out of my experience sharing a documentary film I made about my mom's struggle with early onset Alzheimer's.
Banker's come from this story about his mother. Now he's trying to broaden his story to some essence, someone you love, their sense of who they are and who you are slipping away. How do you give sensation of memory becoming less and less and less clear?
Our meeting with Lynette really helped to crystallize things for us.
How she phrased her questions made us feel really grounded and realize that there was this real core purpose to what we were trying to do. And then out of that, I think the project started to take a form.
Vacant America is a series of installations across the country. Projection mapping as a medium, it's evolved into this interesting place. It's like graffiti, you can do large, but you're not trespassing. It's temporary, so there's this kind of enigma around it. I really want to take those tools and express our interpretations of these spaces. It's more what's not said that's important to me.
Creativity at its fundamental level, I think there's something very personal that is driving at you, and then you set up a series of problems. The way that the problems are solved is where it becomes really creative. Ideas are cheap, actually. The execution is where something really happens.
We have three main characters. We have Robert Moses, we have Jane Jacobs, and we have the city of New York.
We need to have a story that acts as the skeleton and have an understanding of what New York is in an opera that really at its core is about a city.
I think they're really interested in the complex relationship between human beings, and given that they have two very strong and very complicated historical figures, I would encourage them to keep the time as condensed as possible.
We learned new things about it. We learned new ways of looking at it that we hadn't considered. It's a love triangle. What this framing is going to allow us to do is to deliver those ideas with a personal passion.
Hamlet is a multi-platform web series and a modern adaptation of the play Hamlet.
Jay's working on it, and I've been a fan of his because I loved the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and I loved specifically what he brought to the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, which was telling the story over social media, which was my favorite part of the show.
Seeing how they can really push forward into telling a story that doesn't have an anchor in video, I think that that's a frontier.
If you look at the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, you were supposed to be talking to Lizzie Bennet. So what does it mean that you're talking to Hamlet and Ophelia? That story's gonna end bad. Do you know that story's gonna end bad? As they start to explore the interactive components of their work, #Hamlet has this potential to create a tragedy in this space.
One day I'm going to die. My energy will disperse across the universe.
I found it really interesting talking with the folks in Postmodern because they're the first generation to grow up completely connected to technology.
More and more, our lives are mediated through these machines. We want to explore sort of what that means for us.
Also kind of exploring it as a surrogate for spirituality that has to do with transcendence beyond bodies.
I think the core to any of the storytelling with these new technologies is having that core. And their core in this instance was the script. How do we make the script as clear as possible, even though it has many, many layers and it's going to be interfacing with all of these platforms? But how do we take a character on a journey that the audience absolutely invests in?
There are so many people that really kind of ripped our project apart, but with questions. They led us to answers. They didn't tell us things. And that was really, really, really special.
Works fail, they fail you. But I think the work is waiting for you to find it.
It's about being in the moment and connecting to your higher self and letting it flow through you like current.
Finding this place where what you're putting out just feels really right. It feels really good. It is kind of a life force.
What I love is the moment in the brain where you can almost feel new synapses connecting. The moment time falls away, that's what I'm after.